Sara, what is the best way to dip your sweet potato fries? Or what is the best dip for sweet potato fries?
Sweet potato fries. I'm probably going to go honey mustard.
Yes, I think that's the correct answer. Or no dip. I'm not here for anything sweet because sweet potato fries already sweet. So I'd rather just go mustardy, and probably as far as I go is honey mustard. That's where I stand on it.
Yeah. I want them to have like a bunch of savory, dry seasoning all over the outside of them though.
Okay. You're at a restaurant. They say French fries or sweet potato fries. You're going where?
I mean, I'm getting French fries, but if I'm at a restaurant and they say we only have sweet potato fries, I don't know. I think I would probably be like, this isn't the restaurant for me. But also, I think a sweet potato fry is hard to do, right? Like it's hard to keep them crispy. They have good starch, but they just like the sugar on them is not, I don't know. They're tricky. They're tricky and they burn so quick because they have so much sugar. So, but if it was a Quickfire and they gave me sweet potato French fries and they said, make a dish, I am making a soup.
Whoa. Okay. Well, on that note, cue the music. This is Pack Your Knives. I'm Tom Haberstroh, and that is
Sara Bradley, y'all, coming in hot.
Yes. This is our first recap episode. How excited are you? You already showed me your notes, your notebook. Can you flash it for the audience here? Really flash. Yeah, there you go. You've got how many pages of notes?
4 pages.
Yeah, this is
sloppier and sloppier as it goes along.
I have 3 handwritten. You got to get bigger notebook pad paper is what you got to do.
What I really needed to do was get a little black moleskin like they give us on every season of Top Chef and start like a little countdown in the back. It might not be the same. I might still have to do it. So.
Yeah. Well, how did it feel for you watching this episode on your first official recap of the season?
I think it's the same way it's been every time. Every time I'm like a little jealous that I'm not there, because it's this like really intense energy, but also I think the best way to describe it is like chef summer camp, right? Like you're there with all your contemporaries and you're doing all this cool stuff and everybody's like, you're meeting all these people. And so I think I'm a little jealous of the experience, maybe not so much what is about to happen, but the experience with the other people.
Yeah, I was really excited. I felt like watching this, I'd been waiting for so long to see how they're going to portray Charlotte and how are they going to kind of message the city. And the Carolinas thing is a little tricky because they've done Top Chef Charleston, right? And this is not Top Chef Asheville or Top Chef Raleigh, but we're kind of looping in the Carolinas together. And so I think they did a pretty good job of managing that and framing this season. I want to give a shout out to Kendra McClanahan and Carly Levitz over at Pack Your Knives Substack. We've got new power rankings and fantasy leagues that we're doing this season. And I want to encourage everybody to go check out packyourknives.com or find-topchef.com and join our Pack Your Knives fantasy leagues and our power rankings. So you can go every week and rank your contestants 1 through 15 or however many there are left at the time. And we're having a competition on the site. And so, Sara, we did this blind draft, you and I did before the season. And I feel like we won't be able to do these fantasy leagues because we already have our own little fantasy setup here between you and I. I feel like we did pretty good on our draft.
I do too. I think it was, I said it when we did it, and I think I'm even more in love with it now. Like, I think the blind is the way to go. I think it makes the people who are not, like, we're not getting this, like, kind of like tainted view of what is going on. Like, we did our own research, and that's what played out. And so, I don't know. I loved it.
Yeah. We'll get into it more. We had someone sent home. And for those who don't know and are just checking in, the first 2 episodes, the first 2 elimination challenges, there's no Last Chance Kitchen. So bye. Sayonara is what I meant to say. And I feel like it's going back to the roots of Top Chef, where if you got sent home, you got sent home, and that's it. So the stakes are a little bit bigger here in the early going. And I think it's interesting. We had Carly Levitz do an analysis about how often do the people who are eliminated first and second episode, how far they get. And it's actually more often than we think, Bailey being the most recent one. People who are sent home in the first couple episodes, they do sometimes make it all the way back into the competition. It doesn't happen all the time. But if you were Bailey last year, you kind of feel like, yeah, that was my lifeline. I'm glad that I had that elimination challenge, last chance kitchen loophole, so I can get back in the competition. I won all of those competitions to get back, but we're not going to have that. And so, again, spoiler alert for those who have not watched yet, this is going to be the recap, and we're going to get into it. Everything from the season 23 premiere. Day Joseph is being sent home. Lots to get into on that. But big picture, we're here. It's season 23. Tom looks great. It looks like he's lost some weight. He's very fit. He's got more of a heart in this episode. He kind of zigged while everyone was zagging on one particular dish. I thought was really interesting. And Kristen, Gail, it feels like Top Chef. There's no real curveballs that we're seeing in this season. And I'm a big fan of this cast too. What'd you think? Big picture thoughts of this episode?
I also love the one thing that I love that they've added that was never there whenever I was there is that you don't get immunity for a Quickfire, right? Yep. Like you get the immunity for your performance in the elimination challenge. And I think that that's so important because the Quickfires are just what they are. They're Quickfires, right? And the elimination challenge is the one that really takes a lot of effort and thought and skill. And so I'm so glad to see that they kept that from last season. I think you should be rewarded more for that. I'll tell you what else. There is so much sweat in this episode. Like literally I have to imagine that the Quickfire was extremely hot. Like you're standing out in this asphalt area, but there's so much sweat, the whole thing, the kitchens, everybody, like they're wiping their faces with their hand towels. Like it's crazy. That was something I definitely noticed. A lot of sweat.
Charlotte right now, for those who don't know Charlotte, they might just watch this episode and think we're on the surface of the fucking sun. Everyone was even in the kitchen, like in the, at La Belle Helene, they were sweating. It was bizarre. It was bizarre how even indoors they were sweating like crazy. And I'm not saying that kitchens aren't hot, but it was just from start to finish, they were sweating like crazy. And as a bald guy, I felt so bad for the Dearden brothers and for Day, where they're bald and they have to sit in that sun. And you could see, I think one of the brothers had a fucking towel on his head afterwards where he was like, my head is getting so burnt right now. And I felt bad. I was in pain myself.
So here's the behind the scenes for you. They don't tell you if you need sunscreen, right? Like it feels like it should be like a very obvious thing. Like, hey, you need to put on sunscreen or you should wear shoes that you can run in today. But they don't because, right, then something is happening outdoors. So they don't tell you need sunscreen. And then after like they expose everything, they come around, like all the PAs come around and they're like, here's sunscreen and like put it all over. They give it to you, but they don't tell you starting out like anything about it. And so there were many times where people like full on sunburned forehead or just everywhere. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so they do provide sunscreen if needed.
They do provide sunscreen if needed, but like they don't tell you should wear bug spray or like you need sunscreen or like dress warm. It's going to be a hot one today. They don't tell you. So you just you just go for it.
Well, speaking of going for it, Top Chef, as the casting directors, have gone for it this season with the twins and with the couple. We got a little bit more info on that in this episode, and I really do like this aspect of this season, is that the alliances are coming up. I'm watching how Justin and Jennifer are kind of interacting or not interacting. There's a little bit of element of like Bravo TV drama in this because it's brothers and because it's a couple, that I'm wondering how they even played it up, and not to do the episode before the episode, but I noticed that they kind of played up the whole Jennifer said, I would say yes if he proposed to me. And then in the next scene over, Justin's like, yeah, she won't let me propose to her. And I'm like, oh, this is crazy. This is crazy. We're getting this in the first episode, some intermarital, tension between the two. Cause I don't know. Did you read the same thing as I did? I don't think they're on the same page of this whole, I want to get married thing.
She's like, oh, I would marry. He's like, she won't let me put a ring on it. I mean, 16 years, at 16 years, right? Do you even really mean to get married? Like,
no.
No. I'll tell you though, with the twins. So I have written here in my notes I write this down on lap 18. I'm like, can't imagine being on a show with my sibling. Like, I couldn't imagine I could do it. I mean, I could, but neither of mine are chefs, but I couldn't imagine like the competition that must exist. And I felt a little like they were playing up that like brotherly competition. I have a feeling that it really doesn't happen that like they're really, I know they're rooting for each other. Like I know they have to be. I think they're like getting into the vibe of like, oh, we're brothers and we're going to compete. But I guarantee when they can pick each other, they will.
Yeah. How good are you about telling the identical twins apart? Because I think I've got a little mnemonic here that I think I'm working with to differentiate Brandon and Jonathan. I had a tough time at the beginning.
I got nothing. I literally thought today, I don't think I could tell you which one was which.
Sorry, I kept going to my notes like, wait, which one is that? So, all right, so let's get into this. We have a Quickfire. They're basically on the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and Charlotte is the capital of racing in America. Up in Concord, about 20 minutes north of Charlotte, is where all of the racing teams have their headquarters. And so it's a huge thing. Michael Jordan has left basketball and now has his own racing team. He just won the Daytona 500. Not Michael Jordan himself as the driver, but his driver on his team won the Daytona 500. And it's huge here in North Carolina. So the first episode to introduce people to Charlotte, it makes a lot of sense to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. They get Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson. And we learned, Sarah, that Dwayne works for Jimmy Johnson. I wasn't totally sure how that setup goes down. Did you believe that Dwayne didn't know that Jimmy Johnson was going to be part of this, and vice versa, that Jimmy Johnson didn't know that his chef, who kind of opened up this, I wrote it down here, Legacy Sporting Group or whatever that Dwayne opened up for Jimmy Johnson? I thought that was an interesting little twist in this first episode. Legacy Motor Club. I have it here.
So, number one, I am gutted when Michael Jordan doesn't walk out because he's like, does the racing at season 23. They like go rolling with the 23 car. Gutted. I'm so mad. But on the other hand, I like to imagine that he knew and she had no idea. Or maybe they didn't call him because like my mother did not tell me that she was coming to Macau. And I do think I think it would like mess with your head, right? So like I have a feeling, I like to think that she did not know. Mm-hmm. He might have, and they told him like, listen, you tell her she's out and you're
out, she's out.
Yeah. So I don't think that they knew.
Yeah.
But I think it adds some pressure to it for her.
Yeah, it was cool to see those guys out there. And I wanted, one thing I wanted in this episode or in this Quickfire that I didn't quite get a feel for was how fast these laps are going. Like I'm so conditioned to watching a Quickfire when they say, hey, you have 20 minutes, you have 30 minutes, you have 25 minutes, that I missed that element of like seeing the clock. And I knew that they said like, oh, we're on lap 5 or lap 8, but I didn't quite, maybe I missed this. But I didn't have a good bearing for how long this Quickfire was.
Wait, where I'm Googling it right now, you guys. What's the place they were at in Concord?
Well, it's Charlotte Motor Speedway. Oh. They also do a great Christmas festival. Like you drive your car and it's a bunch of Christmas lights. It's one of the big attractions here in North Carolina.
Holy whoa. The average lap time is 29 to 30 seconds.
Are so 23 laps.
That's their cars going. Are they?
That's
are you
12 minutes.
That's crazy. No wonder their fish was raw.
Yeah. All right. So you're the culinary director here, or the the Quickfire director. What did you think about this Quickfire in terms of the elements, bringing the story of Charlotte, the racing, and the fact that it was 95 degrees out, it seemed?
I thought it was a solid Quickfire. What I also am wondering now that you're saying, did they even tell them like the average lap is 29 to 30 seconds? Did they go in like having no idea how long they were going to have to cook? I like to think that I don't think they did. I think they were just like, okay. And they were having to like pivot and figure things out. It's so hot. Like, so if I've said it before, I like to go cold food in a Quickfire, but I'm smart enough to know not to do it on asphalt with stainless steel tables. So I definitely would have gone hot food, because also hot food, it doesn't matter if it's ripping hot outside, your food is going to stay ripping hot. So I was kind of surprised how many people went like the crudo style, which ended up being a good decision, but I was very surprised how many people went that way.
Right. So we have the teams breaking up into red, blue, yellow, green, and purple. We meet Brittany Cochran, who's the Stagione. She's the executive chef over at Stagione here in Charlotte. And she apparently had met Tom Colicchio before. And so they had a nice little interaction there as they're kind of divvying things up. And we see that you're not allowed to get your plating done until the final lap. And so you're kind of prepping everything, and then you have 30 seconds, I guess, according to your research. You got like 30 seconds to plate, and you got to time everything and have everything ready that it doesn't get too hot. And we have Brittany is on team green with Jossie and Justin. So for those who are keeping track at home, I have Brittany on my team and Jossie on my team, but you have Justin. So we didn't have a pure Sara team and a pure Tom team. And we actually didn't have it at all in this Quickfire. I don't know if you realize this, but there was no Team Sara all on one team, and there was no Team Tom all on one team. So it had a mixture of both of our fantasy teams on this. So Brittany was on the green team with Jossie and Justin. Day and Dwen and Nana were on the same team on yellow. Blue was Jennifer, Jonathan. Jonathan is the bigger, the jumbo. Apologies to, I have brothers. We make, we crack jokes about how I'm the tiny one or I was the chubby one when I was a kid. In my head, my mnemonic is Jonathan is the jumbo, and then Biddy is Brandon. Brandon's the Biddy, the smaller one, the thinner one. So that's how I'm going with it. Jonathan is a little bit bigger. He's on Lawrence with Team Blue. Red, Brandon, Anthony, and Seeger. And purple, we've got Oscar, Rhoda, and Sherry. So they kind of do the backyard, schoolyard. Hey, we got to meet each other and awkwardly figure out our teams. Anything jump out to you while they're kind of separating those teams up?
That a couple of the teams that you and I picked higher, they automatically like join together. You got like the Sherry, Rhoda, Oscar, like that was pretty high picks for us. So, I mean, I think that, yeah, I'm like looking back at ours. And then you've got Lawrence, Seeger, and
I think yellow was actually the one that was the toughest, like the one lowest ranked in our big board, because we had Dwen, Nana, and Day. So Day was on Team Maze because she was the last pick. And so, and I think Justin and Jennifer, the couple, were our last picks. And then Nana and Jonathan, the Dearden brothers, were at the back half of our draft as well. So that team, the yellow team, were, I think, punching way above their weight in terms of what we were expecting going into this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they're like, oh, she's like, I know I can make a butter sauce. And I'm thinking, nobody wants to eat hot butter. But then, I mean, I eat hot butter all the time, right? Like, I don't want a cold butter sauce. So it kind of makes sense. Like, if you can get it right, you don't really have to worry about it breaking. Yeah,
you got to cut it, right? You got to cut it with, and they said this, I think it was Dwen maybe, who was like, I want to cut this with some lime or what is it?
Like harissa.
Yeah. Something to kind of cut through that decadence of a butter sauce and the surface of the sun. So yeah, it looked miserably hot, and Seeger said, I can't even begin. It doesn't even describe it. Miserable doesn't begin to describe it. There was a weird thing that I guess they kept it cold by having it underneath the purple team, Oscar, Rhoda, and Sherry, when they did this shrimp ceviche, they were able to keep it cold by doing it under the table. And I'm wondering, is that something that you noted?
Genius. Okay. It's genius. In all the competitions of all the ones I've cooked on there, I've never been told like it has to be plated on this spot. It just has to be plated hands up. So why not? Why are you going to now see people starting to like plate in the oven and just like leave the door cracked so their food stays warm? I don't know. It is this one of the smartest moves I've seen. I mean, who knows? There could have been a cooler down low and they plated under the table with it sitting like right on the cooler. I did that in Macau. I tried to like plate on a plate, like in ice. And it was the worst idea ever because it was so hot. My plate started to like sink into it. And then like water from the ice got in it. And they were like, this has no flavor. And I was like, no shit. All the flavor is like diluted by this disgusting Macau rain. So, but it was such a smart idea. I mean, kudos. I like wrote down, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing.
So they did the aguachile, the ceviche with avocado, aguachile, and crab salad. And they got it cold. I thought they were going to win this one. So that was my guess, was that the purple team with Oscar, Rhoda, and Sherry, 3 of our top picks, I thought were going to win this thing. And it didn't seem like that they had any kind of negative notes on this. But actually, it was the blue team, Jennifer, Jonathan, and Lawrence. I'm already jealous that you got Lawrence on your team. Not only is he really talented, but I think he does very well on the camera. He seems like a really fun character. I love this guy, and I wish he was on my team because he's just awesome. So kudos to you on getting him with your number one pick.
Yeah, I think he's smart. I think we see like a lot of I see a lot of promise in him. I think he's going to be a really smart chef, and I think he's going to be able to pull from like so many different styles of food.
Yeah, he's Turkish, but he's Chinese American, but he was basically raised in Turkish cuisine. So
in his mother's Chinese bakery. Like, which way do you go? So, yeah, he's a good one.
So, what do you think about the hush puppy?
So as she's like, she's like, they're like, oh, she's over here and she's working on the perfect hush puppy, and I see it, and I'm like, oh, it's too. I can look at it and tell you it's too loose. But the thing about, like, we would call that like a quick bread, right? Like, you don't want to develop a bunch of gluten because you want it to be tender. And when I see that she has to add flour to it, I worry because I see her like whipping it in there and I'm thinking, oh, it's going to get gummy or it's going to get tough. But they seemed to love it. So, but I know that pain of like dropping something in the fryer and it like pops open.
First day, first challenge.
It's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah.
You got a lot of that. I know you said it in their and if you haven't listened to the previews, even though you've already watched an episode, go back and listen because Sara is a genius when it comes to just kind of figuring out the strategy and bringing all the elements and Appalachian cooking and all of this stuff was really interesting to hear from you, considering you've been on the show a couple times, both in competing and as a judge. My thing that always kept popping in my head as I'm watching is how you said when you go on Top Chef, the thing that you're most consuming your brain is don't go home the first day. And they've really brought that out in this episode, how you heard it a few times is I just don't want to be the first one to go home, and just adds so much pressure.
Yeah, you hear one of the twins say, like, I just don't want to go home before my brother. So it's like now you've got that. You've got, and I feel it for like, do have second in my notes, the local girl. Kind of wish I'd picked her higher. Like, I'm really liking Brittany's vibe. Like, I like it. She seems hyper focused, super serious. I went back and like checked out her menus. They look fabulous. So I think there's that pressure of like, don't go home first it's the first thing when they call and say, okay, you've made it to the show. That's it. That's all you can think about. And you should not be thinking about your final meal. You should be thinking about, cause you got to get there first, right? Like, doesn't matter the final meal if you can't get there. I'll tell you one of the things whenever that happened that reminded me of like, is the joy of being called first. The absolute joy in your food going up to the judges first.
What do you mean?
Because it's the freshest, right? Like, Like on a quickfire, like say you all do individual quickfires, which I think is very rare. Carly could probably tell us that they do individual quickfire for the first episode because then you have to get through like 15 plates of food and it takes too long. And I want to know some of the story. But the joy of like, especially if there's like 12 of you and you go first and then there's somebody else's last, like you just have to sit there and listen and like their palates are tired. So they call up red team first. And I'm like, oh, this is great. This is so good. They made that cold dish. It's going to be fabulous. But then like they say the dish is hot.
Yeah.
Say that like
the tail didn't get on.
He picks up the fish and it's like, that's rookie. That's rookie. I'm going to say here sometimes that stuff is rookie. You're going to hear it a lot from me this season. But you got to cut all the way through it, dude. And then not all the plates look the same. So it's like the first dish out, you got that advantage and they dropped the ball on a lot of really simple things that should have been very easy to fix.
And these are our guys. Like I have Anthony as my number one pick overall, and that was not a good opening performance from him. I also thought it was great in the car. We got a little scene of he and Brittany, and she's like, hey, so where'd you go to school? And he's like, actually, same one as you. Do you remember me? Like we lived on the same hall. And she's like, nope, no, not a clue. My bad. And she goes, Brittany let out this, oh, Jesus. I just cracked up. Did you have any of those moments where you, in your journey of being a chef, someone's like, hey, remember we were at JWU together? And you're like, nope, sorry.
Yeah. I had a kid one time. I went and did like a thing in DC, like food fight, and I was judging it. And he came up and he's like, do you remember you helped me like fill out all of my visa paperwork so that I could like come and work at Dovetail? And I was like, oh, I don't. And he was like, yeah, I came and I worked. And like a week later was your last day. He was like, you know, I've always wanted to tell you thank you. And which I'm not trying to be like, oh, Sarah, but I had no clue. Because I mean, I would do that for anybody, but no clue. And now he's like, he's doing great. I actually recommended he should go on Top Chef. So,
hell yeah,
next season, yeah.
Well, that happens. I've been on the reverse end of that, where I'm talking to like someone that I've revered and like ran across back in early in my career, and it's just there's a lot of people that you meet, you know. And Brittany's just like, I'm on camera right now, and I'm just blowing this guy up. Like I'm sorry, I don't remember you back at I don't know what school it was. Did you catch that? What school it was that they had gone to?
But okay. Brittany, just if you're listening, don't worry. I don't remember a lot of stuff from my college days. ISO stuff, you know, it's okay. We don't have to remember everything. That's
right. So we've got Brittany, Jossie, Justin. They did the pan-seared red snapper with corn and cauliflower salad with a mole sauce, which is I'm guessing an Indian technique or sauce that. It didn't land very well. Tom said it wasn't cooked. The red snapper wasn't cooked, and the fish was like basically raw oftentimes. So what did you see happening with their dish there?
You know, I think it's interesting. It's like, Tom, say it while we're standing in front of you, right? Like he doesn't say it until Kristen's like, oh yeah, it wasn't bad. He's like, mine's raw. And then he's like poking at it. Like, why didn't you tell him when they were standing there? You know, like it's always a little like gutting when you watch it later and you're like, oh, they said this when I wasn't looking. But yeah, I mean, I think that I could see that dish and I could have told you that it wasn't cooked. You could see, like, I paused it, I zoomed in on it. You could see that it was really pretty opaque in the middle still, and like it hadn't flaked apart. And so, yeah, that's me zooming in on dishes to look at it, you know, but it also felt like a lot of food, which is something we're going to see from Jossie later.
Yeah. A lot going on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like the portion was huge. Like,
yeah, this I felt for, you know, you're in that sweltering heat, and I was very surprised that the winning team was someone that didn't go with like a crudo or aguachile or something like that. And so they go with the hot, like you said, is that it stays hot when it's out there. And the Hush Puppy wins. The crab and shrimp Hush Puppy, as Magical Elves does it again, where the team that seems like they're in a crisis because they can't get the Hush Puppy right is the one that comes out on top. So Lawrence gets 3 points in our scoring system. Jennifer gets 3 points, and Jonathan gets 3 points. And Lawrence is very excited because they get to go racing. Where are you on the whole racing thing? You'd be excited to go do that victory lap around the track?
Yeah, I mean,
Sure.
Tom Colicchio looked so serious. Gail and Kristen were like having fun, and Tom was like so stern. He was, I think it's fun. I don't really need to drive 175 miles per hour. Like I'm okay. Like I'm cool. Like if I hit 80, like that's fine. I just don't.
You're not a big roller coaster girl, like Kings Island.
Love a roller coaster. Love a roller coaster. Cedar Point, amazing. But someone else is driving the car, right? Like I'm not. I can't. I don't know. But it was definitely cool, and I love that all those other people had to stand there on the asphalt and just like watch those people go around. Yeah, poor guys.
You're just boiling. Your
blood
is boiling.
And the one, what do we call him? Brandon. I like the way you remember it. I almost called him Biddy. Brandon had I think it was him, right? He has the thing on his head.
Towel on his head.
Oh yeah.
I was hurting for him. And actually it didn't look as bad afterwards. Like I was expecting at the elimination challenge that it would like be like peeling or bubbling up, because I was like, if he's putting a towel on his head because it's so hot, I can only imagine how much he's just getting roasted out there. But they were both very sunburned, I could tell, but not as bad as I thought. So elimination challenge, Sara, sweet potatoes. We didn't see this coming, I don't think.
Absolutely not.
Vegetable.
I just didn't see sweet potatoes.
Should have seen it, right? Should have seen it. State vegetable. North Carolina produces more sweet potatoes than any other state in the country. It is the number one producer of sweet potatoes in the country. I didn't know the different varieties. As a North Carolina resident, I should know these things, but I didn't know my ass to my elbow when it came to the different types of sweet potatoes. I guess the more traditional one is, what is it here? The Ruby. The Carolina Ruby is the more traditional, more common sweet potato. What can you tell me about sweet potatoes that the average person don't really know about sweet potatoes when you're cooking them?
Here's the interesting thing. When you order like a case of sweet potatoes at the restaurant, you open up the box and there's like a little thing that says like certified weevil free sweet potatoes. Yeah, there's like a little tag, not in all the sweet potatoes, but in some of them. I feel like mostly in like commodity sweet potatoes, it's like certified weevil free. And you're okay. But I've opened a box of sweet potatoes before and just been like bugs everywhere. So it does happen. Let's see what else. An interesting thing about
it seems like it's hard to peel. Like it seems hard to skin them, and that seems like a thing.
I have this in my notes. Kitchen tip. Make sure you peel your potatoes all the way. There's a spot where I see Jonathan doesn't do it, and then you don't need to put it in the fryer. So if you go back and watch, they're peeling their sweet potatoes, and there's like underneath the skin, there's kind of like a lighter layer, and then you get to that like really orange, like robust orange color. You got to take all that off, and then it doesn't oxidize. But the part between the skin and the really concentrated flavor, that will oxidize.
Okay.
Peel them all the way. And they make the best potato latkes also.
Oh, great. Another pro tip from Sara. Yeah. We're going to be getting lots of these this year. I'm excited for this. Someone who could use a lot of pro tips. We had a huge meltdown. One of the iconic meltdowns in Top Chef history in this elimination challenge. So Nana, she just spends, as Lawrence pointed out early, she's just spending way too much time peeling her sweet potatoes and just seems like a total lack of time management. And then as she's plating it, she's getting help from Lawrence, and I think Anthony jumped in too to help her plate it and get it on the dish. And she just loses it when she doesn't get everything on there. We've all been there where there's a clock, a deadline, whatever it is, whether it's getting your kids ready for the bus or whether it's plating on your first episode of Top Chef. This was a big time meltdown on national TV. And she didn't go home. And so there is kind of this silver lining of, yeah, I did have this meltdown, five alarm fire on air, but ultimately my food was good enough that I didn't get sent home. So you, Sara, as you're watching it, are you getting like an empathetic rush, or just like, is your adrenaline rushing too as you're watching this go down? What were the feelings that you were having inside as you're watching this?
I'm like talking to my husband. I'm like, I'm not actually talking to him. I'm like focused on the thing. And I'm like, Austin, oh my God, you have got to see this. Like this chick right here. Like when she says, I'm going to make a smoked pork jus. And I saw that she had like deli ham cut up in the pressure cooker. She was like, and I've got 30 minutes. And she was like laughing about it. It's like, she's done. This is it. This is not going to happen. I think what is really interesting about it is that Tom probably got one of the few completed plates, and he said it was the best. So is she going to be a Dawn where she can't get everything on the plate, but they just keep moving her along because when she can do it, it is so delicious. Like that's what I was thinking in my head. Like, is this Dawn? I've never seen a meltdown like that on Top Chef, but I know that, you know, it exists. It is so much pressure. And some people, you heard somebody say like they've been trying to get on Top Chef for 11 years. I think it was Seeger that said that. And so it's not like this was her first time to try to get on Top Chef. You know, this is like a dream. And so, I bet that when she didn't go home, she was completely surprised. I bet all of the chefs, I bet Day was the most surprised.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Day, she goes home, and because she brought her herb de Provence, I already wrote it immediately when she got out the seasonings or the herbs and I just thought, ooh, that doesn't seem like I've seen that much on Top Chef, is having like that seasoning, the herb de Provence on the episode, where it seems like she just layered it on like crazy. So did that catch your eye when she was cooking with that?
Yeah, I've got 4 things written down for you, Day. I was like, Day is giving me panic vibes. Number 1, she goes to put the fish in the oven. You gotta like touch the oven and make sure it's hot. You know, that is again like a rookie thing. You gotta make sure the oven's hot. So she wastes 5 minutes cooking her fish. It feels like she has no prep list at all. She's like running around. She's like, oh, and then I remember I got to make a sauce. Like, didn't you write yourself a list? She needs to chill out. But the one thing that she's doing that is very disruptive and I think detrimental to her is she is like asking everyone for stuff. Have you seen the blowtorch? Can I get some space here? Can I do like, she's asking her, where's a pot? Where's a pan? Where's this? So she's spending so much time like running around looking for stuff. I mean, I knew that there was no way. And then she pulls the fish in plenty of time to let it sit under the heat lamp. So she definitely, that dish was not her best work.
Yeah.
It was her only work and it was not her best.
Yeah. So. She's got some serious tear ducts, by the way.
Yeah.
It was a lot of tears happening instantly, and it was a very tear-filled episode that I don't want to talk too much about the ones who were sent home, or at least in the bottom, but I felt really bad for Day because she gets sent home after what we saw from Nana, where she's right before she's walking out to the table. It's a scene. And Kristen just says, I'm jumping into like Mother Kristen mode because I've been in those shoes. I've been in Top Chef as a contestant, and she goes over there. And if I'm Day, part of me is like, that's kind of cheap that she got a little bit coach up pep talk from a host, the judge, and I get sent home. I didn't get any sort of pep talk from the judge. And I know it just felt weird to me that Day got sent home and Nana didn't. And I guess the food with Tom, it was a good dish for Tom, so that saved her. But it felt like I would feel a certain way if I was Day, that she got a little bit of help to get back on track. Not to say that that's wrong, but I don't know. It just it felt weird to me, Sarah.
I don't know. I mean, right? So I've said it a million times. People always think like, oh, they're picking the people to stay because they make good TV. Both of those females would make fabulous TV. Day served Kristen Kish a ring mold. I have never in my life. She gave her a ring mold, but I'm guessing a couple of the people that had her complete a dish, I mean, they might have put her in the middle. You know, we don't know exactly what happened, but for Day to stay, for Nana to stay, Nana.
Sure. Yes.
for her to stay and Day to go home, her dish must have been phenomenal. But it's not about the tears, right? Like, number one, there's this idea that you shouldn't cry in a kitchen. I don't care where you cry. I think you should cry. I think you should cry all the time. I think a good cry is good for everybody. It's cathartic. But
I wasn't saying she shouldn't cry. I was just noting how much volume of tears were coming out when she was crying. Like, it was a lot of tears. So I'm a big crier myself. So
yes,
not judging.
But like, the food is already down, right? Like, the food is on the plate. It's not about, she could have had that attack, like that panic attack in the back, and they never would have known about it. But I'm sure that she was given some time to pull herself together. And I'm guessing she was given some time. They are compassionate. They want people to look their best, present their best. Yeah, but I don't know. I just can't believe that the couple people that got the completed dish, that it was that fabulous, that serving a ring mold on a plate, that you didn't go home.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that that's tough to come back from.
I would have been upset if I was Day. I would have been like, I don't care how bad my completed dish was. Hers was like, mine might have been raw, but at least I got it on the plate. You got the ring mold, man. That was tough.
It was a controversial elimination, no doubt about it. Day, I think it was undercooked. The roasted snapper was undercooked. The herb de Provence, I think, just swamped the meal, over seasoned. I think that's what Tom was harping on. I should mention the 5 different varieties of sweet potato. They got broken into 5 different groups. Day was in the Carolina Ruby group, and so she's at the bottom. Jonathan does the grilled pork loin with bacon jam and a puree. A lot of purees happening in this episode. And pickled okra. I was like, oh, that's ballsy to do pickled okra for Tom on your first episode, but he wins that group. And Sherry does a Brazilian preparation with the green papaya and chow chow, and it was very close. So in that first section there, Jonathan takes the victory with the grilled pork loin. Grilled pork loin seems like a risk, right? Because it could get dry just grilling it. Yeah.
No, it's pork and sweet potato. Like, I don't know. You cook it properly, right? Like, you serve it medium. If I was going to serve pork loin, I probably would have had that like second or third on my list of stuff to do, to like sear it and rest it. Like, that is something that needs to rest. But, like, I'm totally freaking out when I see Brittany putting her pork and she's like, I got 23 minutes left. Like, there's no way. We'll talk about her in a second. But yeah, that was a tough one. I mean,
which one are you rooting for? The type of potato, sweet potato, is there one that when they were reading it that you said, ooh, that would have been fun to get?
I mean, the Covington or the Carolina Ruby, they would probably be the easiest to work with. Like, nobody wants the hardest to work with.
The driest, the flavor, the most mild flavor.
I'll take the one that has no flavor. Like, no.
Did you know Purple Majesty? So it was invented at NC State.
No clue.
2021. Like, Gail was like, yeah, it's only been around for 5 years. It was invented in 2021. So the Purple Majesty is a variety of sweet potato that has only been in existence. It's been engineered at NC State. And so that was pretty cool to hear that. I did not know the history of the Purple Majesty, and I'm glad we did. It sounds like a mushroom out you can get in Amsterdam. But Purple Majesty sweet potatoes. I might have to go find some in town.
I know, it was funny because somebody was like, I've never actually eaten a whole Purple Majesty sweet potato. And she's like, boom, shit, obviously, because it's only been around for about 4 years, y'all. Like, she's just very obvious. Like, doesn't everybody know this amazing food knowledge? I feel like Gail is just so much. It's encyclopedia.
Yeah. Well, we got the Purple Majesty team is Brandon, Oscar, and Justin. Brandon decides to do this dessert with a caramelized coconut chocolate sorbet with streusel and meringue. As soon as they brought it out, Tom was like, whoa, what is that? Did you mean for it to cook like it? He's like, yeah, absolutely. And Oscar does this braised sweet potato with, as they call it, the crazy brazy, with agave, chorizo hash, pasilla salsa, Mexico City style. And then Justin goes with the curry, cardamom, poached brown butters, sweet potato puree, and charred onions with cheese sauce. At a restaurant, do you call it a cheese sauce, or do you just go like, that's queso? Isn't that funny that like queso is like a cheese sauce that I don't know, when you say cheese sauce, it doesn't sound as gourmet in my mind, elevated.
You could go with like a fondue. You could go with like a Mornay. I mean, I think there's like a many things but I think he was like trying to show some like wholesomeness of the dish.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Brandon, Oscar, and Justin, anything jump out to you that dessert dish?
So Brandon, I love it. I love it. I think it's really interesting because I immediately thought like, oh, sweet potato casserole, right? Like I do savory sweet potato casserole all the time. Like it just, to me, it just makes perfect sense. It looked a little different. I wasn't quite sure, the plating. I was like, what is that? But it looked interesting and like elegant and super refined. It showed a lot of I also felt like it showed like a lot of his like Alinea, with like the little curly, he got to drop the bomb that he worked 2 stations at Alinea one night, and I think he said he reigned supreme. And I was like, oh, I know this guy. I know this guy, this CrossFit guy.
Yep. And it's this, this group, right? The Purple Majesty group, Justin gets not eliminate, but in the bottom of this one, Oscar, an okay showing. I have Jennifer on my team. So Justin is on the bottom of this one. Brittany, let's talk about Brittany. The Covington sweet potato, which, according to my notes, smooth, sweet flavor, moist, great for mashing. So the Covington sweet potato is going to be Brittany, Jossie, and Rhoda. As soon as Brittany started going, I was a little nervous for this reason. In her confessional, she was teary-eyed. I know this is a theme that I'm harping on. Looked like her eyes were welling up in the confessional. And I was like, oh shit. Is she getting sent home the first time? And I think it was another little curveball here where they think you're going one way, and it actually wasn't a disaster, but it felt like it was heading down the disaster turnpike.
Yeah. Why is she cooking 5 loins? Like, I don't know. For me, I'm thinking like, why are you cooking? Like, you're already in the shits. Why are you cooking 5 loins? Why are you staring them in a pan? I see a smoking hot grill right there. You don't have to like wait for the pan to heat up. So I am wondering if she has a specific style, which her menu looks fabulous. And I'm guessing she has like, you hear her talk about it. She worked at Maria. She worked at, she worked for Mark Forgiano. So she is an Italian chef. And we talked about during the draft, like, why do we pick a lot of, like, what was one of the things that I used to pick chefs? And I said, I looked for people and who they worked for. And I really liked people that had worked for different types of chefs. So I think she might, early on, I was like, oh, I really wish I'd picked her higher. Now I get farther into my notes and I'm like, I'm wondering if she is going to be able to pivot. Is all she going to give us is this like very refined, like she has an idea of what she should be cooking, is what is expected of her. And is she going to be able to, veer from that?
It seemed like to me, Brittany, not having been on Chopped or on Alex vs. America or on Tournament of Champions, I feel like those experiences will inform you about like, hey, you've got 30 minutes. You can't do 5 pork loins and you can't X, Y, and Z. Like, you got to come up with a way to make this look beautiful and tasty in just a quick amount of time. I felt like her story of like, hey, I'm from the Midwest, Columbus, Ohio, meat and potatoes. So we're going to do, pork loin and potatoes. I don't have a problem with that. It's just the time management thing that you talked about is just like, you don't have to cook all of that. In a pan-seared pork loin does feel like you might have a tendency to undercook that.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to peel. He was like, you don't have to peel all those potatoes. I mean, like, we saw that a couple times back and forth. Yeah. So yeah, I think she, I don't know. I loved the look of Oscar's dish in this round. I just thought it looked Like I just wanted, that's what I wanted to eat. You know, I just got back from Oaxaca and did this trip, and I looked at that and I thought, man, that looks like one of these Michelin star restaurants I ate at Oaxaca, where they took this very traditional food and they just elevated it, and it looked so good to me. But did they say his potato was a little undercooked? I can't remember.
No, I don't think that was one of the notes.
The first round, right?
Yeah, so that was right. So we had Jossie, and in this one as well, the Kim Khichdi rice and lentils with roasted sweet potato and yogurt pickles. It looked really good, but probably pretty heavy, like you alluded to earlier. Thoughts on this one and Jossie's performance in the first episode?
I think that if he'd gone different, like, right, like what if he'd had just like, what if the rice had been like a small, like a little, you know, bite to elevate the sweet potato. But what he gave them was like a rice and lentil dish. And as soon as it went down, I was like, oh, no, there's no way. I mean, maybe if he'd done like sweet potato puree or he'd done something like in the rice, but I knew when it went down, I could see Tom. He's like, well, no, didn't focus on the rice, didn't focus on the sweet potato. I could see it in his face. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That one was tough.
But Rhoda, holy shit, that looked awesome. That looked well conceived. The crunch on top. I think Rhoda nailed this right out of the park. And I have no notes other than just awesome job by her.
Okay, so here's my Rhoda note. This shop is a 30-minute shop, $250. That's plenty of money to cook with a sweet potato, right? Like that's plenty. 30 minutes, that's a normal shop time. 1 hour is insanity for your first elimination challenge. 1 hour is insanity. When they said that, I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then I'm watching them check out and I see Rhoda with unpeeled garlic. And I'm like, I want to scream to the TV, get the peeled garlic. It was like a fight every time we would go into the thing. Everybody like runs straight to the peeled garlic. Like, boom, you want, like, that is what you want. Like it gets to become this thing. You're like, you need carrot juice for a dish. You just don't. I mean, I know people want to think that we're juicing fresh carrots, but we are the people who got the farthest. Like that was the trick I saw Eric do. He like needed carrot juice for this escabeche sauce he was going to do. He goes straight and gets all this carrot. And it was just genius. It's like, you have to pick and choose. Like, are they going to know that you used fresh carrot juice from Whole Foods? They're not going to know that you did that. So when I see her picking that, I'm like, oh, Rhoda is going to have to spend 10 minutes peeling garlic. But whatever she did with it, dude, that was the dish I wanted to eat. And that was the one.
Yeah, she did a soy glaze, like a potato puck almost, with miso sweet potato puree and this lime creme fraiche. The lime was exactly like the thing that you needed to cut all of the heaviness and the umami. The presentation, it was an awesome dish. And I don't get to eat it, but I knew as soon as she plated that, I knew, oh, that's got a chance to win this whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I love burnt food. Like, I know that sounds weird, but I love, and when I saw her with the sweet potatoes on the grill and she was getting this like really good grill marks, and she had sugar coated on it. So you know that part of that sugar was going to get kind of crispy and part of it was going to get kind of burnt. And then you're going to have that lime creme and it's going to be like, it was just so bright, and like the acid that naturally comes from like sour cream with that, like, as she's talking about it and as I see her building it, I'm like, that's the one I want to eat. It's giving me like the same vibe as Brandon's dish, right? Brandon, who had the like with the meringue and
the dessert,
the dessert. Literally the same vibe. Like that could have been sweet potato casserole, just lime instead of sour cream. Like instead of meringue. Like it really read to me like it could have been. It was like it almost had like Southern vibes to it. I loved it. That's the one I wanted to eat.
Yeah, and that is the one that won ultimately. But before we get to the judges table, the next one, the Norton sweet potato with Dwen, Jennifer, and Seeger. Seeger was in the middle on this one. Jennifer, she had this condensed milk, poached soft, or sweet potato with squash puree and pickled sweet potato. This one, Dwen, she presented something totally different, this mochi, and I felt like as soon as it went down on the table, I said, "Oh, that has the potential to win," just because aesthetically and thematically, it just felt so different than everybody else, and so she landed that plane.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she went like pure rice flour, or if she had like sweet potatoes, like if she had like just rice starch, or if she had like sweet potato starch in it, because that would have been genius. And she cooked something that she's probably made a million times, and that is so smart. And she just elevated it. I thought it looked really cool. I don't think they like hated Jennifer's dish. Who we didn't talk about was Tootly. Tootly, is that his name? Justin Tootla.
Justin, yeah.
Love that. I don't think that they like hated either of their dishes. I think they just were in very strong categories. I don't want to eat a huge slice of pickled sweet potato on my plate. Like that for me felt like when I saw that, I thought, oh, that's going to like envelop everything. And it did look like it was starch, or it was raw. It didn't have like a real kind of like, what's the word I'm looking here? Flaccid, a little floppy, wasn't floppy. It was like, it felt firm. So for me, I was thinking like, I don't want to eat raw sweet potato, pickled sweet potato. But,
yeah. They both were in the middle, so I'm going to talk about this when we wrap on the scoring. But Jennifer is at the bottom. Justin is also at the bottom. We skipped over, and I think I was just raced past them. But the first one was the Murasaki. The second one was Nana, Lawrence, and Anthony. Anthony is to the winner's circle with the seared scallop. With Murasaki, Accra, fondant, and with the jus. Miami inspiration on this one. Again, it's one of the reasons why I liked him for my number one overall pick was he was over at Red Rooster with Tristan Epps and our Marcus Samuelson in Miami. And so he lets it breathe through on this dish. And it was kind of... It was like a deconstructed dish, right? It was like separate things on a plate, and I was a little nervous about that because as we've seen on Top Chef before, sometimes you can run into trouble when you have it like deconstructed or a duo,
like so to speak. Like a trio or a duo, because something's got to be the best and something's got to be the worst, right?
So what did you think of, Anthony wins this group, but Lawrence, your boy, he does the pork stuffed collard green with tomato yogurt, a very Turkish style. I think when Tom said I'm conflicted, I thought it was going to be he was conflicted between Lawrence and Anthony's dish, but it turns out he was conflicted on Nana, decided that she had the winning dish. So in this group, it seemed like Lawrence's tomato was just too overpowering. What was your read in this one? I
didn't see a lot of sweet potato on like his dish. There was pork, there was sweet potato, there was collard green, there was a lot going on. That probably could have been like an easy fix by like adding, a little pickled sweet potato or some fried sweet potato. We needed to see more sweet potato from Lawrence. When he handed that piece of paper to Kristen and she was like, Tom, I was like, holy shit, he picked Nana, because I saw that he was one of the only plates that was completed. I think she completed 3 plates. I think I saw that like 3 plates had sauce on them. But one of those plates was the beauty shot. So only 2 judges got a finished plate, because they always take a finished plate to the beauty shot. Like if you don't finish any of your plates except one, that's going to beauty.
I didn't read that at all. I thought he was saying Anthony or Lawrence, I can't pick. And when he said Nana, I just said, whoa, Tom must have gotten a really good dish, because it seemed like there was no chance that Nana was going to stay, but it tasted good. And he was like, that's what I love about Top Chef is the integrity of the show. Is that if it's good, and Tom, he saw what went down. He saw the whole train wreck over there, right? And I thought that might have an impact on your experience of the dish. I don't know how you don't let it. And so it was cool to see that Nana actually wasn't unanimous, and that Tom was like, actually, that was the best dish of the 3. I was stunned by that, but tasted good.
I mean, right? Like that is like pure passion, right? Like if you see someone and they've put it all on the plate, all on the table, and you're like, like maybe maybe Tom had a soft heart that day. I think I said on one of the podcasts we've done so far, I was like, Tom doesn't like people. You're like, what do you mean Tom doesn't like people? I'm like, well, he doesn't pick a dish based on if he likes the person or doesn't like the person. It's all about the food. I do have written for the Murasaki, I have Kristen Kish is a literal fucking kind human being. That's like what I write. It's in all capital letters. And I have always very much liked Padma, but Kristen brings to the show something that I think a lot of chefs missed out on, which was like the fact that a kitchen is a place full of camaraderie, right? Like it is a team effort. And I think that Kristen just emulates that on such a different level. Like the fact that she's like, I'm not going to let this chick go down. I'm going to walk over here. I'm going to tell her, suck it up. It happens. Come over here. And you see a vital shift in the person's, boom. Like, that's it. That's all it takes is one person telling you like, it's okay. And that is what chefs are supposed to do. We are supposed to be leaders. And so I think that she's doing something that has never existed on Top Chef before, which is the kind of motherly leadership that works so well in a kitchen.
And the instantaneous Nana was like, her emotional, like just completely flipped, like exactly what she needed in that moment. She gathered herself and she went out there and presented the dish when she was just like, Kristen was just like, let it all out, like, let it go. And she just did this big breath, exhale, everything out. And then it just looked like it was a totally different person. And so what kind of person is Kristen to instantly kick into gear in that emergency situation, be that motherly figure, that mama bear who's over there and is talking you through it? She's not minimizing it. And she's also not, saying this doesn't matter. Like, you need to go out there and present your fucking dish. Like, we're going to get through this. You're still an amazing professional chef. You're going to have a great life after this. This is not the end of the world, but you need to get your shit together and go out there. And I was like, how did she hit all of the right notes in real time on TV in front of the cameras? It was just so, I don't know, amazing. It was an amazing bit of TV.
It has to be that she'd already seen the ring mold on her plate and she's like, this girl going home. Like, I'm just going to go tell her that life is okay because I'm maybe never going to talk to her again because she is going home. I'm sorry. The ring mold, I would have been like, no, she has to go home. This is unacceptable. Like, but I guess that it was worse than Days, which I don't know. Days looked really bad too. Her sweet potatoes were undercooked. Her fish was undercooked. The whole thing was covered in herbs de Provence. I guess she was thinking that like French Haitian thing. So she's going to grab that. But like, and we've used herbs de Provence in our restaurant. Like right now we have this French toast dish and it's like savory French toast with like, it's delicious, like truffled maple and, like French onion creme fraiche, and it's disgusting and fatty and so good. And, so I think it has a place, but it's not on a sweet potato. She put it on both things too. Mm-hmm. Put it on everything. Yeah. So that was just it was a rough dish for her.
Okay. Let's talk about this bottom group. For our scoring purposes, which is very official and very integrity fulfilling, I want to make sure we talk about this. I actually have Justin and Jennifer in the middle and not in the bottom. What are your thoughts about that? As a scoring system, we have it. If you're in the middle, if you go on, but you're not in the top or the bottom, you get plus 2 points. But if you're in the bottom in our scoring system this year with Carly and Kendra, the scoring system has it. The rubric is if you're in the bottom, you get -3. I felt, Sarah, that having Jennifer and Justin in the bottom and getting a -3 would be unfair. And considering that usually in these elimination challenges, 3 in the bottom, I felt like we could have Brittany in the bottom, Day and Nana in the bottom and getting -3, but Justin and Jennifer would be +2. What are your thoughts? Are you cool with that?
I'm good with that. We didn't even get to hear a critique from them, and we did hear from the judges that like there weren't bad dishes. They were just in really, really strong groups. One of the things that I noticed during the judging is that before, like when the challenge starts, Day's hands are totally fine. And when she is up at the plate, like when she's presenting her food, and afterwards at judges table, which means that the cuts were bad enough that she needed finger cots. She had 2 finger cots on. We didn't see the cuts during prep, which is normally, but it must have been such a fiasco back there that they didn't have time to even show her cutting herself twice. So that was surprising for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is a ring mold worse than a dish that's just like undercooked in 2 ways and doesn't taste good? I mean, maybe I don't know.
We predicted this. Day was the last pick, and she goes home, and there's no recourse. She doesn't go to Last Chance Kitchen. So she said, coming on to Top Chef and cooking for the judges. And I should mention here, Kyle Johnson, shout out to Kyle Johnson. He was part of this James Beard Foundation dinner that the Charlotte Chefs did in New York City as part of the Charlotte CRVA, put on this amazing Charlotte chef-driven meal with a bunch of Charlotte bartenders, mixologists, and also chefs. And he was part of that group, Community Matters, this cafe in Charlotte. Can I tell you about this?
Delicious.
Not only is it delicious, but it's for substance abuse rehab. All of the chefs and workers at this restaurant in Charlotte. It's called Community Matters. Kyle Johnson runs it, and he was the guest judge or at the table here with Jamie Lynch. It's all for people who are needing some, like, a foundation and team and people helping you get through rehab, substance abuse issues. And it is such an amazing program that they do here in Charlotte, and it has saved lives. What Kyle Johnson and his group has done in Charlotte, I think should be a template that every city in America has, is a place where there is a group of people that as you're going through the program, you have a job and a place to be, and you cook, and you're part of this group. And apparently from what he told me, we went out to dinner afterwards. It's like night and day. Having this job and a place to be and a sense of pride and community and having everybody at the workplace pulling from the same rope, it does wonders for your chances of gaining sobriety long term. And so his Community Matters kitchen and the cafe here in Charlotte, it's excellent. And also just what an awesome story that he has. I'm so glad he's getting the shine on this show.
Yeah, well, I believe that he was the chef when I was at the James Beard Awards and I didn't win. I believe he was the chef that got honored.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah. There's a cool place like that in a city in Lexington, Kentucky called Deviate. And they have like AA meetings quite often throughout like the day. And so their workers can go and other people can come, but the food is phenomenal. It's a bakery and it's so good. Yeah. I mean, you can feel good. You want to feel good about the places you go eat, right? Like that's an easy buy-in.
Yeah. I just wanted to give a shout out to Kyle there. So Jamie Lynch was there. Sean Brock was there at the judges table. Jamie, he was with the rep for Charlotte, and Sean Brock more of the Charleston area, but it was cool to see those two heavy hitters. La Belle Helene's a beautiful space. I'm not surprised that they did the judges table there at the same time. We didn't get to see the Top Chef kitchen, but in the bottom, we see Nana stay on. Day goes home. Brittany stays on. Thank goodness. That would be a tough one to see the hometown chef go home on the first time. Jonathan, Anthony, Brandon, and Dwen, they get there in the top. Rhoda takes home the victory. I feel like she jumps up a big jump in the standings and in our big board. So Rhoda gets 11 points because she got another 1 point in the Quickfire. So Sara, congratulations. You won the first round of our fantasy league. The score, I'm going to pull it up here. It wasn't very close. You had 36 points. I had 18 in the first round. Any sort of thoughts wrapping up here about your performance in the first episode of Top Chef?
I'm loving Rhoda. I'm loving Lawrence. I like Sherry. I liked when Sherry said, I don't sweat. I glisten.
Glow.
I'm a little jealous of Oscar. Yeah, I mean, I think that the stage is set to be really fabulous. I want to point something out. I know this. I just had to Google it. Jamie Lynch is sober. Sean Brock is sober. They had the other guy. I think that I'm like, as I'm thinking back on it, I don't remember seeing them pour wine and having like, I'm going to have to go back and look, but I think that's a strong
through line in this
thing for Top Chef to start out with, because it's something that we deal with in this industry all the time. So good job, Top Chef.
And I also noticed when they're cheersing in the Element loft where their hangout is at the hotel, and I think it's in Uptown Charlotte, downtown Charlotte. It's called Uptown Charlotte. Is that I think some of them were water. That when they were cheersing, I noticed that too. So it seems like it's gonna be a theme in this season of season 23 in the Carolinas. Other notes, $250,000 from Grava Olive Oil. That's a big sponsorship there for an olive oil company has entered the chat for Top Chef. Also, the opportunity to present at the James Beard Foundation. There are a couple other things in there. Anything of note in this season of Top Chef that we haven't hit on in this first episode?
We haven't seen the car sponsor yet because I don't think we saw the inside of the car. I know it's not BMW. But I couldn't pick up who it was.
I feel like if it was BMW, we would have known by now, right?
Yeah.
It's a pretty big theme on these episodes.
Yeah. Yes. I see Wells Fargo. I see like the Wells Fargo building when they scan and do Charlotte. I don't know. I think that I'm excited. I'm sorry, Day. Nana should have gone home. I'm so sorry, sister. Like, yeah. But I think that I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be really, really good. I think the caliber of these chefs, I think that they've really stepped it up.
Yeah.
So, I think it gets better and better.
I did notice the Sherry Anthony, not just Anthony knew Brittany beforehand, but Sherry, and that was a cool little bit. Can you just explain for the people? So there's Marcus Samuelson has a task force to open up restaurants, and Sherry knew Anthony. I like this about this season is they all there's a bunch of connections that they knew each other beforehand. So I didn't know this, I guess we didn't figure this out in our prep, like doing the draft, is that Sherry and Mark and Anthony might know each other.
So I think I had, because I have my notes over here, I think I had that they both worked for him. And I feel like maybe there was even another person who had like a connection.
To Marcus Samuelson, you're saying?
Yeah, to Marcus Samuelson. We talked about it one time before. So Kelsey and I had been friends for years, and I think it was really influential in not us going farther, but in us like having some confidence in ourselves. We had somebody to bounce stuff off of. I talked about like Nini and I on Tournament of Champions. We literally had to compete against each other, and we were still sitting in our trailer, like talking about what we were going to do. And everybody thought that was just bizarre. I think that we're going to see some of the matchups go really far. I mean, we essentially have 3 of them now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And I think maybe we also had a couple people that said they worked for Mark Forgione. Maybe not.
Well, I also noted that Jennifer and Justin did not just team up at every opportunity. In fact, I think Jennifer said, I want to prove that I don't need Justin and I don't have to be paired up with my partner in order to succeed on this show, which interesting choice, like certainly a choice. And I think in the early stages, you don't want to be like the couple, right? You want to prove that you don't need your companion in order to survive on the show.
We didn't see Justin say that, right? Like, I think he was like sad. He turned around and his partner had like already buddied up with 2 other people. And he was like, well, I guess I'll go someplace else. Like, I think,
again, doesn't seem like they're on the same page on this thing.
No, he's like, we'll be together every time, baby. And she's like, absolutely not.
Yeah.
It got really sunny here in Paducah. It's crazy. Yeah. So I think it's going to be really good. I think we're going to see, I'm excited for all of the different types of cuisines we're going to get to see. There's inherently not like, I'm looking at we're in North Carolina, And there's really not like there's not a person cooking like Southern food, which there normally is.
Mm-hmm.
There's not even a person cooking like Midwestern food. I mean, I guess you've got like, Montana and stuff, but I don't know what you call that.
Well, Brittany's got a show out, even though she's a Midwestern girl. And Charlotte, I this is a whole nother podcast, but is there parts of Kentucky that are Midwestern and parts that are South, or?
Paducah is both. Like, I would think that people would think that like up near Evansville, Indiana, like that it's like that area is kind of Midwestern, or even, I mean, I don't know, like Cincinnati is like Rust Belt, right? I would say Paducah is probably the most like Midwestern Southern, because we're right there by Missouri and Illinois, and
it's wild. It's wild. My wife Allison, she claims the South, but Louisville, where she's from, is on the Ohio River, and you're just like right there with Indiana. But she would never consider Indiana the South. Like Evansville is not South, but she considers herself the South.
Yeah. Well, Kentucky never decided if they were on the North or the South. I mean, we never joined the South, so we can claim Northern. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I think that that's the river location for Kentucky is really, really intriguing, because we end up with food coming from all over the place. It's like coming up from New Orleans. It's coming down from, that Chicago, Midwestern, we get it from all over the place. So that's why I love Paducah. I can do whatever I want, Yeah. I can do whatever cuisine I want. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see the city that I lived in for a couple of years. I want to see if like there's stuff that I remember, stuff that I know. There's so many things there to offer. So I'm good for it.
Yeah. It's not, we haven't seen Top Chef Kitchen yet, because they did both things on site. But La Belle Helene is in Uptown Charlotte. Jamie Lynch is running that restaurant. And it's a beautiful space, and I'm glad they gave it a shout out in this episode. Last note here for me is, I think in terms of this upcoming season, we're going to get a lot of just alliances and stuff that I'm really interested. That's, I think, to me, is what the most interesting part of this is, the twins, the different interpersonal connections. And of course, the Jennifer Justin storyline is just really intriguing. We don't have a Last Chance Kitchen to wrap up here, but congratulations. You kicked my ass in this week's fantasy. And a reminder to people at home who are listening, if you go to find-topchef.com, Kendra's website, you not only get the restaurant guide there, that you can go search any city in America and see the Top Chef restaurants or affiliates there. But also, if you win the Power Rankings competition, Sara has given a prize out. If you want to remind people what you're willing to do for the winner of the Power Rankings competition.
You're coming to Freight House. I don't remember how many people I said, but I know you're coming to Freight House. You and a couple folks, you and some buddies. And I'm going to cook like full-blown tasting menu for you. I'm going to pair some of my vintage whiskeys, some of my dirty whiskeys. When I say dirty, because they're dusty and maybe they come out of a lead-based decanter. Who knows?
All these people are like, I'm not actually doing this now.
You come and we'll cook something for you. I mean, right? Like, isn't that the dream, that you always get to like taste what is on the TV? And I feel like that's why I love Top Chef so much. Like it stimulates my brain and like makes me think about food in a different way. So, I don't know that I love the no LCK.
In the first two episodes, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like love that it's a redemption thing. And I think that like they probably went in like thinking they were going to get that. I hate that. I hate that. I wish they would get their second spot. I want everybody to have a second chance, right?
Yeah, I did notice that with There's No Last Chance Kitchen. I wonder if the Top Chef Kitchen, it wasn't ready in time, or Last Chance Kitchen wasn't ready in time to do it, because it is a little bit of a tweak to this season. But we got the Raceway, we got Sweet Potato, we got a very traumatic plating meltdown, and also a ring mold in a dish. Lots of stuff went down in this episode, so a really good season premiere. And a reminder to everybody, subscribe to our Substack at packyourknives.com. If you want instantaneous reactions and all of our content, go there now and subscribe. It really helps us support the awesome work from Carly and Kendra and Sarah and making all this stuff happen. Really appreciate everyone listening, subscribing, rating, reviewing. We do have a YouTube channel if you want to check that out as well at Pack Your Knives. So awesome job, Sarah. We had a great episode here to chew on, and I thought it was great. So thank you so much for doing this.
See you again in a week, man.
Yeah. Can't wait.
Bye.